Okay, so hello everybody, happy Halloween, and welcome back to another episode of Rickey's Reviews, where today on this spooky holiday, I decided I'd cover a Halloween movie, but not one that you might be expecting, like a Halloween movie like Michael Myers. And while those were on the table, I could have done the Rob Zombie Halloween movies or the original Halloween movie. I decided I'd do something different for Halloween this year, and I'm going to be covering Trick or Treat. Now, this movie came out in 2007 and was directed by Michael Dougherty, and the premise goes as such that in the small town of Warren Valley, Ohio, four different stories are going on at the same time, or I guess on the same night, discussing and depicting what people do on this holiday. And that is all the plot I'm going to give you, but I will add one more thing. All of these stories are interconnected in a way with a wraparound character called Sam, who is really the main protagonist of the film, and he's this little pumpkin guy, I guess you could say. But yeah, that is all the premise I'm going to give to you for the film so far. Now, as I've caught my breath, because sometimes I'm talking a little bit too fast, I'll get into what I liked and did not like about the film. So for starters, what did I like? Because this film has a lot to discuss and a lot to go over. One of the things that I liked was how, while these stories are in their own thing, an anthology movie, I guess altogether, it's an anthology, there are elements that wrap each story and interwove it into each other. And that's one of the things I like about it, because with anthology series and movies in general, sometimes you don't want to use interconnected stories, because sometimes that might mess it up. Like, for example, the Marvel series What If. The first season had somewhat of interconnection that made the last few episodes of the series kind of, I guess, dull in a way. And then in the second and third seasons of the TV show, every character and story was interconnected, and that kind of made the whole, I guess, luster and idea of the show kind of like pointless in a way. Because the whole idea of it was to ponder the question, what if, and get away from the more simple Marvel movies of team-ups and all that. But in the TV show, it did the same thing. But I'm getting off track. Back to this. This movie does the anthology series with interconnected characters pretty well, because it only has... the only interconnectedness is Sam and a few of the other human characters that show up briefly within the other stories and segments of the movie. So, it's an anthology, but it has the interconnectedness, and it does it right. That was one of the things I liked about the movie. Another thing that I liked, and this is something that a lot of movies kind of use too much of or put them in the wrong parts, is flashback scenes. Now, this movie has a few flashback scenes that just tell the story and fill in the gaps of parts and of the characters' backstories that weren't really known to the audience. I mean, for this movie, there was originally going to be a prequel film or a sequel, I'm not really sure which one it was, but it got canceled and they turned it into comic books, which helped to fill in the gaps that the flashback scenes in this movie did. So if you came into this movie not reading the comics, these flashback scenes were good to explain that. But if you did read the comics, then you'd get the same thing that the flashback scene would give you. But this movie uses flashback scenes in the right place and in the right time, and they don't use them too much. A lot of movies use flashback scenes way too much, and it kind of just bogs down the movie. But in Trick or Treat, they use it pretty well, and that's one of the things I liked about the movie as well. And one last thing I'll say for positives about the film is just the whole idea, because something like this, an anthology movie about what goes on Halloween, at this point in 2007 hadn't been done a lot, and so this movie coming out was a pretty good depiction of events of what people do on Halloween, and overall it's just an enjoyable the kind of perspective into a town on Halloween. So, now that that's all the things I liked, now we'll get into the things I did not like about this movie. Now, this is usually a complaint of mine with movies like this, the kid characters. Now, some movies can do kid characters pretty well. This one did them alright, it's just, sometimes I found them to be a little bit too annoying, but then again, I guess it is how kids are in real life. But, yeah. And then, another thing I didn't like was the teacher in this movie, Mr. Jenkins. I believe that is his name. His whole subplot of him being the serial killer teacher trying to balance a double life, in my opinion, just seemed a little strange to be placed in here. Like, it has its moments when he gets killed by the werewolf ladies, spoilers, but it just doesn't really make sense why he's here. Like, I don't know, his whole character kind of felt shoehorned in at points of the movie. But other than that, I can't really think of many other negatives to share about the film, because this is a really enjoyable movie if you're looking for something just to watch on Halloween, or just something to get you in the spooky atmosphere. It's a good movie. But now I'll get into my favorite scene about the film, which is pretty funny, because it is the flashback bus driver scene. So you learn in this movie the old man that you've been following in some of the stories, Mr. Creel. Okay, hold on, quick correction here. Editing me just went over this, and I said Creel. His name is Mr. Krieg, not Mr. Creel. Okay, back to the normal video. Sorry, guys. So anyways, Mr. Krieg, in his story, you learn through the flashback scenes that he was this elusive bus driver that was tasked with sending these kids that you see in the trailer over into a cliff because apparently their parents were too sick of dealing with them. Now, this scene, the reason I like it the most out of everything in the movie, is just because it's a good use of a flashback in a movie, and I like how there's specific lighting and tones to the scene that make it very clear that it is a flashback scene. And that is my favorite scene of the film. And if I have to give this film a rating, I will give it a 8.5 out of 10. It is an enjoyable watch if you want something for Halloween, and while it does have certain issues with its characters that bog it down, it is an enjoyable watch. Okay, so that is my review for Trick or Treat 2007. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a good and safe Halloween. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.